Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. We review anything and everything. And today we are getting into the unboxing of a couple of shrimp. Now I don't know specifically what type of shrimp these are, but I'm gonna have the link in the description down below. Now it's been a little while since I've done a video in regards to my fish tank setup with my betta fish, which has snails in it, has some frogs in it, and a few other things, but the betta fish are the main animals that are in it. But I wanted to get some shrimp for a while. I used to have ghost shrimp back in the days, but those are cheap and usually affordable, but they never have them inside the stores. Here I was able to get something around 10, I think it is, 10 shrimp for roughly about $30, which is a better price than these same type of shrimps in the stores roughly run for, I want to say it's about maybe $5 per shrimp. So it's definitely a bigger discount, but I ran the risk of waiting to get them home and the possibility that they would not be alive. So they are, so I got to get them out of the bag as quick as possible. But so far, everyone looks like they're living so far. So maybe they don't really require that much oxygen for their size. So we're going to see what we could do. I'm going to put them in the main tank, but we also have I'm gonna just move this up here. We also have the little side tank. And so I'm gonna turn these lights off because they're just creating glare. I also have the side tank, which I gotta put some water in it because it's a little low, but that one just has snails. I have no fish in it at the moment. And the main tank is really kind of the major ecosystem, and the smaller tank really was just the backup tank for the most part. So another thing too I got to worry about though is that nothing will eat them in the main tank, and so that's the reason why I'm not going to put all of them in the main tank. I'm going to put some in the main tank, and I'm gonna put some in the smaller tank. So let's see here. I'm opening up the bag right now. It's off camera, but so what I'm going to try to do is, I think what I'm going to do is, I'm going to dump a few inside the small tank first, just so I don't accidentally put too many in the big tank. And to be honest, I don't know how many went in, but I don't think a lot of them went in. I think I'm gonna have to put some extra water inside this because it's not, for whatever reason, not flowing. Now let's pray that I don't actually have some of these end up going into my sink. So let's see, I got one on the edge. Let's see if I can get him to come through. Okay, we just got a few of them went through just like that. And then now I'm gonna put some in the main tank. Let's hope those went in smooth. I got one left to go in. What I'm worried about, come on, little guy, come on. I'm just gonna flick him out with my finger. And he's on my finger, and now he's in. Let's make sure all of them went in. Yep, that's all of them. So let me just wash my hands real quick. I don't know if you guys can see them on the camera at the moment at all because I am not standing right there. Let me see how things are looking. Let me close this. The top and the small tank, we don't have to worry about them. So I just want to check with the big tank right now because my goldfish would eat them. The bettas, I don't know, but my goldfish, if they find them, I'm sure that they will eat them. I only put about maybe 3 or 4. And I think there was more than 10. But I think I put like 3 or 4 in the big tank. Now, what's good about the big tank is that there is a lot of green, so they should be somewhat protected, but at some point they will get seen, they will get caught, but hopefully they're smart enough to try to hide. The water sometimes gets a little murky when the goldfish kick up a lot of dust, because they do that a lot. What I will do is I will feed them, so that way maybe that would also distract them from looking for the shrimp, as I'm just getting home from being out most of the day and they didn't have a chance to eat. What's nice about having a natural setup tank is that often there's a lot for them to survive on just naturally in the water. So I'm not sure with that. But now here is the small tank. Now it's a little dusty right now because of me putting that water in. Normally the smaller tank is a lot more clear than my main tank. And I don't really know why. Maybe it's because there's no fish in here. It's just the snails. Now I pray that, you can see a shrimp right there. I pray that the snails won't eat the shrimp, because they will eat the shrimp if they get a hold of them. But hopefully the shrimp will not stand still long enough for that to happen. I'm gonna put a little bit of fish flakes inside there because that's the only food that I have. And so my main objective was really just to kind of put, have extra stuff inside my tank. I like just having all types of things inside the tank going on. Obviously I didn't want anything that would be a predator to my betta fish, because they're the main component of my tank and I really don't want nothing to ever happen to them. So anything else is just part of the ecosystem, and I hope it survives. I so far have had no animal in my fish tank eat any other animal in the fish tank. So they used to not eat the other shrimps, but then again, when I had the ghost shrimp before, the goldfish were smaller. The betta fish kind of stopped growing at a certain point, but the goldfish really have gotten a lot bigger, and the ghost shrimp were a lot larger. But now these shrimp are very tiny, and that's probably why you get such good value for the price, but they are definitely small. So hopefully they do well. In addition to that though, I actually bought a new male betta fish that I threw inside the tank. I didn't get a chance to really update on a video for him, so I'm just gonna throw a little talk about that in here now. He can't be seen at the moment, but he's almost like a darker, almost like a blackish color with like a lot of deep blue, sky blue highlights, kind of like baby blue highlights. And he's not as big as, right over here is the sun. Sorry, that the part that has drained out from water looks a little dusty. Once it's filled up with water, it doesn't look like that. But this is one of the only suns that survived from the original set. Is that him or is that the new one? No, it was the sun, but now he moved, and now that was the new one. So over there, these are my little lights set up on top. Over there, I know it's hard to see through the screen, but the screen is what's holding the lights. That pink one right there is the king. He's the original dad. That blue one that was over here that I was looking at before. So if you see him right there, I know it's very hard to see, but that blue one over there is the new one. And then the one kind of closer towards me, he just moved. That was the sun. So this new male is actually holding his own very well. He seems to be pretty aggressive. He seems to be making sure no one bullies him. He's not. I seen him and the king have a kind of stare off match. They didn't fight with each other, but he doesn't have any ripped fins. So he's definitely holding his own. And the reason why I put him there is because I bought 3 females for the older son. There goes the king now. I bought 3 females for the older son because the original dad, that's one of the females, the original dad, the king, and his, we'll call it his wife, who was a small red one, they're still here. I didn't want the grown-up son to have to battle with the dad. They don't battle at all. They never fight each other. They acknowledge that they're family. But the problem is that he has no one to mate with. So I got 3 females for him. He still hasn't done anything. Now, granted, in this size tank, maybe he doesn't feel comfortable because he wants his own space. But at the same time, too, if he's not going to be doing the job, I bought another male to come into the picture to do the job. Now, so far, the only males that are left inside this tank are family, and they don't fight each other because they're family. And the other male, I had one before, which there was a little bit of aggression. Not enough that was a big deal. He didn't die off of fighting, but he did eventually die off. He was definitely not the alpha of the tank, but and that was a white one. You can go back to some of the older videos to see the name of that type because I forget it right now off the top of my head. But one of the big things though is this new male is a little bit more aggressive. So hopefully, and he's not even that big, but he still holds his own. So hopefully he will, take that time to, get to mate with the other 3 females that the son is not choosing to do. There he goes now. That's the new male. And let me see if I move this, will he not jump? Okay, there he goes. So he is definitely, like I said, very aggressive, holding his own. He has no ripped fins, so he's definitely holding his own. He's not getting into fights, but he's definitely posturing to let them know, hey, you're not going to mess with me, which is good because I don't want them to fight at all, but I do want him to feel bold enough to say, I will claim some of the females and maybe find a corner of his own to claim as his own. Okay, they're splashing. When they see me, sometimes they splash. Now, in that corner on that side, the far back corner is where the king normally stays, but he'll come to the front every now and then. The son normally stays on the front corner on the right-hand side. But now this new one is just kind of roaming where he wants and doing what he wants. So I do hope that, like I said, I don't want him to fight, but I do want him to make claim to a corner. And that way he can start, mating. It will get stressful if he does have his own little clutch of eggs, his little bubble nest, because he will have to defend it. But what's interesting and what's nice is that with a 20-gallon tank, because it's not a really big tank, but it's a 20-gallon wide tank, there's enough room for each one to claim a corner and stay in their own corner. If they've got like about maybe a good foot long of space, you got a lot of greenage inside the tank. If they've got about a foot long length of space, from this corner, coming up to here, about that is about a foot. If they got like about that much and about halfway the depth of the tank and they can't see anyone else, they can claim a corner. And as long as they defend that corner and every other male knows don't come in their corner, they should be good enough to be able to have their own little setup and not be a problem. The only thing that will be a problem in this setup, I'll be honest with you, is the goldfish. And they might be, I may have to remove them at some point. They are very messy. They are very dominant. They push things around. The only issue is they might eat up the bubble nest if one of them tries to have babies. So that would be the only problem. But right now I don't really have a dedicated tank for them, nor did I want to have a dedicated tank for them because I really was based around having the betas. I just never want to get rid of them because if you remember back on the channel a while back, I showed I had a pet snake. They were supposed to be fed to the snake. I didn't end up doing that and they lived. And so I decided to give them a home and they've grown so big. And now they're so big, I'm impressed that they're so big. But the truth is they don't contribute to this environment in any way other than just eating up a lot of food, making a lot of waste, and just shuffling around. Now, the only aspect I will say that they do somewhat contribute is they do, because of their presence being so much of like a bully type, not that they are aggressive, but because like they just take up so much room, they bum rush whoever's in their way. There goes the sun right there. They bum rush whoever's in their way. It does create a level of peace amongst the betta fish to not really fight, because they all move out of the way of the goldfish. Not that the goldfish bullies them, but it's almost like they're just so big and they push them out the way when it comes to trying to get food that the betta fish just don't want to bother with them. And it creates a dynamic where I feel it creates less tension amongst the betta fish, because there's just this big fat goldfish, 2 goldfishes swimming around. So put down your thoughts down below. What are your thoughts? Do you guys have a similar setup? How are things? Whatever. But I did want to update you guys on that. And as always, you guys, like, share, comment, subscribe, and I'll catch you guys in the next video.